Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So I decided to just go ahead and take my butt to bed after the Cowboys get destroyed in front of America on Monday Night Football at the hands of the Arizona Cardinals, 38-10. Uh, Kyler Murray is the homecoming king. His triumphant return. We heard it all night on the broadcast. Allen High School, Oklahoma winning the Big 12. Whole thing. He owns AT&T Stadium, and he didn't even play well. But uh, we get destroyed. First game without Dak, and we'll get into just all of what that meant. But uh, starting out, I really like the effort from the defense. First quarter, didn't give up any point. Normally we come out and we get shredded from jump, but they hung in there, competed, try to make things difficult for Kyler Murray and messing up his vision. He was struggling with his accuracy all night, but was still able to be very effective in the run game and scrambling around. But we got some good pressure. We were, defending the run well to start out with. And it just seemed to be a complete disaster on offense from even before the Zeke fumbles. Just, we almost threw a pick six to Jordan Hicks. Zach Martin goes down with a concussion. So now we have Connor Williams as the lone starter that we had from the beginning of the season in there at the offensive line. And it's a bloodbath for Andy Dalton. Uh, and Zeke, and this is what I want to get to when it regards to Dak. That pressure that Zeke was feeling, that's what Dak has had to shoulder for a long time is, hey, if I don't ball out, if I'm not damn near perfect, we're not competitive. We don't have a chance. And Zeke and Dak have kind of gotten to share that. And before it was more on Zeke, and then Dak was kind of there to help. Then the last year or so, it shifted more to Dak, and Zeke's been more, complimentary, if you will, as we've opened up our passing offense. But now with Zeke being back there, and I don't even want to say that we were mentally trying to turn back to the 2016, 2014 Cowboys because that was a different coaching staff. And we have to understand that. And we're not built the same way with the offensive line to just say, all right, we're going to turn around and feed Zeke and try to do that. Now, I will say Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy did make a concerted effort early to try to run the football, even with the struggling line. They had a little bit of success, but eventually, he loses the ball on a catch where Andy's, kind of just scrambling and throws it off to him. He doesn't secure it and hold it high and tight, fumble. And this is stuff that people are keying on film with Zeke, by the way. And then the second one is just mental at that point, trying to, same thing I've said on my Texas videos with Keontae Ingram, where it's just like, we don't even normally see this from you. Now, Zeke has been more prone to fumbling than many of us realize. It's just that he's played at such a high level. We've really excused a lot of it. But when the team is in the position it's in, and we need to step up with the backup quarterback in, we need to step up with 4 backup offensive linemen in, and we start making those type of mistakes, we're not going to be able to compete. And that's what you saw last night. We weren't competitive. The game was over in the second quarter. Once you get down 14-0, 21-3, you heard Patrick Peterson early in the week said, we got to make Andy Dalton throw to beat us. He wasn't wrong because we're not built the way we were with Dak to where no lead was, insurmountable. We could always just get hot. Dak could score in 2 or 3 plays. And what does this all sound like? This is where we were in 2010 with Tony Romo, where we were in 2015 with Tony Romo. Anytime he went down and we were an 8-8-ish team with him, and then he goes down and we're terrible. Because what people like to knock these quarterbacks for is to say, oh, that guy's only going 8-8. he's a stat patter, he's average, blah blah blah. Instead of, wow, what would that team be if he wasn't there? Like, would they even win 5 games? And like now we're kind of starting to see that with Dak Prescott. Do I expect Andy Dalton to play better? Yes. Was all of this the fault of Andy Dalton, where he has to solely own that? No, he doesn't control Zeke's fumbles. He doesn't control Michael Gallup dropping a touchdown that could have. None of those guys were helping out, right? But Andy Dalton has severe limitations. And this is something that I made clear in the offseason when a lot of people, even people are asking me, I've seen a lot on social media, people asking me, like, do you think we can go cheap and have Andy play because we have so many weapons and we can just do that? And, the difference between him and Dak isn't there. I'm like, you didn't watch Andy Dalton with the Cincinnati Bengals the last couple of years. Like, there's a reason why they didn't hesitate to draft Joe Burrow #1 overall. And it's more than just, oh, this guy's a great prospect coming out of LSU and we want to go in another direction. It's also that they knew Andy Dalton was done as a starter. And last night, he looked like a backup quarterback. What the Cowboys are hoping for is that he can have some of that Nick Foles energy when Nick Foles was on the Eagles and he steps up and plays at a starter level. Last night, Andy played at a backup level. There were times he made the wrong checks and just didn't feel comfortable, couldn't push the ball downfield, and he's not mobile. And his arm there's a lot of limitations there. Now, Andy's smart, and I think as he gets more and more reps over the course of the season, he'll be okay, especially when they get Zach back and if they can figure out something just to keep the line at bay and get something going in the run game, he'll be serviceable for us. And we didn't even have that before with Cooper Rush. This thing would have been even worse with Cooper Rush. But we have to be realistic here of how we're evaluating players and where value comes into play, because Dak Prescott's value is being established right now. His intangibles, his leadership, his impact on this football team, they have no juice, no life without him. And they've got to figure out where to get that from, whether it's, somebody young and out there like CeeDee Lamb, who continues to play well with the opportunities he's given, whether it's Zeke just getting out of his own head and just, hey, be you. And I understand he's, again, trying to lead and but it's like you're trying to do too much and now we're hurting the football team. When the whole second half, they're pretty much going Tony Pollard exclusively over you. That should tell you everything you need to know. Nobody's above being benched for poor performance. Now, going to the defense, again, they fall apart, but they don't have the talent level over there is very low. Did you see what Buda Baker was doing on the Arizona Cardinals? Because so many of you, what was that? The 2018, 2017, 2018, whatever draft that was. So many of you were like, oh, we got to go get TJ Watt or Taco, well, nobody wanted Taco, but a lot of people talked about TJ Watt. And I like TJ Watt coming out of Wisconsin. My issue was we weren't running a 3-4 defense, and I wasn't sure how we would be able to incorporate him playing that outside linebacker position as an edge rusher. But I was like, the guy I could take is Buda Baker out of Washington because he can play in any scheme. And I knew he was going to be a playmaker. He reminded me a lot of Tyrann Mathieu. And we don't take the safety position seriously, the defensive back position. And look at what some of these young DBs are doing that are transforming their teams. Buda Baker last night I'm glad that was front and center with Jerry and them to see that's what playmaking on defense looks like. And you don't have that. And the whole the guys we have in the building are good enough. No, sir. Let that be an example. Or Jamal Adams when he was on the Jets a year ago and how he wrecked our day. You look at when, even after Ben Roethlisberger got hurt last year, they still go and trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And you look at the impact that Minkah has had on the Steelers defense since he's been there, these playmaking safeties back there, and not just, it's not even just safety, because they're all different types of safeties, But it's just the fact that they have playmakers back there on defense that can go and take the ball away and can go and put pressure on a quarterback and can do multiple things and can cover guys. Like, there's nothing that Buda can't do. He's one of the best tacklers in the league. You know, like I said, Minkah Fitzpatrick, all these guys at some point have been available, Jamal Adams, and the Cowboys have passed every single time. And we don't draft those type of guys either. We don't look for those guys in the draft either. So my question to the Jones family is, how much more do you need to see for other people doing it to you when you realize, hey, we got to, you know, make some adjustments on our side and try to get somebody like that? Why don't we value that position? Why don't we value paying the quarterback? Like, why don't we value making sure that we have a better structure in place so that our backup isn't asked to carry the whole ship the way our starters were? And then you wonder why you're going 8-8 with Tony Romo, or why you're going 8-8 with Dak Prescott. Because it's the same script. It's just a different season and a different cast, but it's still the same script. And this is how we do business. This is how we've conducted business. At this point, you know, Coach McCarthy, he's got to evaluate the players he has, and he also has to evaluate some of the staff as well. And yes, we're already there having that conversation, because I don't think Mike Nolan, you know, I know a lot of this isn't his fault, and they did show improvement at the beginning of the game, but, you know, I don't see how you could stick with Mike Nolan next year regardless of personnel. Sometimes you just got to, you know, chuck that up to, it was a bad fit for us and we got to move forward. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of positive to take away from this game other than the fact that we play in the NFC East and our future is, we're still in the lead in the division for now. The Eagles play the Giants on Thursday night, so we'll see how that, you know, plays out and whatnot. But that's the only thing that keeps us around from not already just looking forward to the draft and seeing what the Cowboys can take advantage of come spring, is the fact that we may still get in this thing at 6-10. So we'll see. I hope that Andy can get a little bit more comfortable and play better and try to keep us somewhat competitive. And hopefully the coaching staff at one point in this season will figure out how not to get behind so quickly and have these avalanches happen on a seemingly weekly basis. So that's all I got. I'm not upset because I'm not surprised. And at this point, you know, you are seeing the value of 4. Because the one thing that 4 gives you, and I'll end with this, he at least makes it entertaining to watch. It's at least fun. And last night wasn't even fun. It was just sad. And that's where we're at as a fan base. And that's where the Dallas Cowboys are at currently right now. This sad team, sad division, same script, different cast, different season. So, yep, that's it. Peace.